Welcome to the Now to Next podcast, where every week we provide wisdom on how to press play after a traumatic pause. If you are starting up or starting over in any area of your life or your business, subscribe and listen as we share real life stories from actual people who have pressed play and are winning after nearly losing it all. And now, your host, Octoria Robinson.
Happy Monday, my friends. I am so pumped to be with you. It's the absolute most favoritist part of my week. Yes, I did say favoritist because that's the only way I can describe my absolute joy in being with you guys and bringing these powerful stories that I know are helping you to press play. Let's dive right in today, guys, with my guest, La'Keisha. La'Keisha, how are you today?
Hi everyone.
I'm so happy to have you all the way from California calling into the Now to Next podcast.
Yes, I'm so blessed to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, I've had the privilege of getting to know you over the last couple of months, but I want you to help our audience connect to who you are and where you are right now in your life so we can celebrate the value we have in you as a guest today.
Definitely. So, as you know, my name is La'Keisha. I'm from San Francisco. I have two beautiful children, one on the way. I came a long way from a little young, confused girl, didn't know where I was heading, run away from group homes, foster homes, beaten, kidnapped, and a lot of trauma to God actually revealing a lot to me, and me being not only a community leader, but a mentor to older women and not so much younger, to just being there for my family who put me down a lot, and actually growing more and more and more in the church and outside the church.
Wow, La'Keisha, your intro is just like, whoa. I'm sure our listeners are like, tell me more. So with that said, let's dive in. This show is all about helping people to press play after trauma. Trauma is one of those things that doesn't ask for permission to interrupt our lives. It just comes. And in most cases, we're caught off guard and we don't have a book that we can refer to that teaches us step 1, 2, 3, and now you're over it. We have to process and move forward. I'd like to go into your story and use it to become a tool for someone that's listening today. So I'll let you lead us in a journey. Go for it.
Definitely. I want to start by saying recently God revealed something to me that is very deep, and I suppressed it and hid the feelings and didn't even know it until recently. Not too long ago, I had a memory of my neighbor, 13-year-old young girl, and I playing in the closet, and her doing things that was very disturbing. And I asked myself, well, why would you even think about this? Let it go, move on. But actually, it just kept hitting me, and I had to come to the realization that I need to really think about what happened. Why was I so confused? Why was I so angry and bitter? Why was I so not willing to have relationships with women, my family? And I was molested at 5 years old by a 13-year-old neighbor who was a female. And sorry, this is my first time actually sharing that, because being young, you don't know any better. And I was 5, so I thought, hey, well, whatever. And as I got older, I just forgot about it, wanted to forget about it. And so going backwards, I guess after that happened, at the age of 6.5, 7, I knew what crack cocaine was. I knew what it was, a pipe was, and I found baby bottles with straws and Brillo pads in my room, hidden in my curtains, and I knew my parents' behavior would change. My parents came from both of them, prominent family. We lived in Oakland, San Francisco area, and they worked at the Alameda Naval Base, did wonderful things. Mom and dad, architect, engineer, made tons of money. I was the only child to my mom, and I was very spoiled, but my mom did not teach me how to, she basically was very strict. She wanted me to stay young, but I was woke very early.
Wow.
I knew a lot. And so that hindered me because I began to be mad at my mom for not showing me things and teaching me things, and I didn't know at 7 or 8. And I remember my mom having issues with addiction, and so she had to go to different therapies, rehabs, and my family hiding it from me. But I knew it was up.
La'Keisha.
So I became angry at my grandmother, my uncles, my aunties for hiding it, for not telling me the truth. And at the age of 11, I started running away. I started selling drugs.
La'Keisha, I really have to dive in before you go too deeply. I just called your name out a moment ago because I'm just like, whoa, you are a fortress of strength. I salute you for sharing your story today. Whew. The question I want to enter in, because I'm sure our listeners are wondering, because that was like, felt like 100 years of stories, and it doesn't sound like you've made it to your 20s yet in what you're telling us. But it really sounds like you were set up from trauma for failure from the age of 5.
Yes.
So as a person, and I know there's more details you want to tell us, you said something, and I'm doing this for the benefit of those people that are listening that have not had that moment yet where they've chosen to open their eyes to what they've hidden or wanted to run away from because they could not face feeling or dealing with the reality of what that was. My question is this: how do you process something you want to forget?
So, wow. How do you process? Well, you're going to have to deal with it, period. You're going to have to learn how to process it, whether you want to or not. It's going to come out.
Well, La'Keisha, I want to go deeper. How did you process? I'm thinking about that 5-year-old girl who is in a closet being molested by a 13-year-old neighbor. Most people want to find safety and loyalty in communities, but you found violation in a closet. And even when you think about a closet, it's a place where you hide things. And it sounds like that's where everything started to be hidden for you as you're being violated at 5. So it's like, if I forget it, maybe I can move on from it. And then compiled with everything else that you were exposed to, how did La'Keisha process something she wanted to forget?
I'm just going to be absolutely honest. I put myself out there. And I myself shut the pain down. I was so hurt to where no one could hurt me anymore that I wanted to learn. I wanted to teach myself what my mom or my family never taught me. And even after therapy, therapists didn't help me. Mentors didn't help me. No one helped me. It was God. I must say that. It was God. I had visions. I had, something telling me, go do it. Go and just be yourself. Be open. Don't have any fear. Let go. And that's what I did.
Wow. Talk to us about how that was even a reality that you could do after walking through molestation. Had you ever utilized drugs yourself? I heard you mention that you were exposed to it.
I have. I've never did any crack cocaine or anything like that, but I've, snorted cocaine, drank alcohol, just a party drug to feel good, get me out that depression zone. It was very short, very brief. It was like I wanted to try it, and I wanted to have something to suppress these feelings and this heartache and this pain, but my body rejected it.
Wow. So from your intro to these very short minutes we've been in the interview, it sounds like there has been a checklist of trauma that you've walked through in your life. For the benefit of our listeners, can you just step through them like by name? I experienced this, I experienced that.
Definitely. I experienced, as you know, molestation at 5. I experienced my dad beating me. I experienced my son's father getting murdered. I experienced being kidnapped and beaten. By the grace of God, I was able to escape. I experienced going through group homes and girls jumping on me because I'm light-skinned, long hair. A lot of racial issues within our community, our African-American community. I experienced mental health issues, very hard panic disorder, panic attacks, depression, wanted to commit suicide, wanted to just end everything. I experienced my son getting taken away from me because I had him at 14 and the system said I was too young. Although I was a good mother, I experienced lawyers tell me that I won't ever amount to anything, pastors telling me I look good and he just wanted to have sex with me, or a pastor wanted to date me, but I was just looking for safety in God. I experienced my own family turn their back, and as my mom was on her deathbed dying, my family said I was killing my mom because we wanted the best for her, and we didn't want to see my mom hooked up on monitors. I experienced my cousins wanting to fight me because they was angry that I became successful in life, and my grandmother was very proud of me. And I experienced my son being sick and being diagnosed with mental health, with psychosis. So, and I experienced being beaten to almost die by my daughter's father. And when he released me and I was able to catch my breath, the first thing I can do was hit him with a bottle to get him off of me, and I'm the one who went to jail for attempted murder. So I ended up beating that case with a misdemeanor domestic violence, but I had to fight child endangerment because my daughter was inside the house. Thank God I was able to get all misdemeanors. But then after that, both of my parents passed away 6 months apart from each other. And then my son was hit by a car 4 months after that. And I knew that was it for me. I didn't want to feel sorry for myself. And I did not want to be a victim. So I stand right here today to tell you that I'm bigger, I'm better, and none of that trauma is going to make me feel like I'm nothing, I'm worthless, because I'm better than that.
Listeners, just give me a moment. Wow. La'Keisha, thank you. It sounds like you described 80 people's lives, and we're talking about a single life that seems like it's been filled, just infested and plagued by trauma. I'm sure there's someone out there probably weeping as they hear that. It almost sounds unbelievable, guys. This is real. And from that real place, La'Keisha, how does someone who's even walked through half or maybe a thing that you have been impacted by, how do they press play? I mean, what makes play attractive when all you've known is pain? It's almost like, if I hear you well, at one point, pain was normal. Pain was your normal. How does health and wholeness become attractive if all I've known is pain and trauma since 5? How? That's what I feel like there's someone out there listening today as they hear your story. Now you get this opportunity, La'Keisha, to speak to them. How?
Just love yourself. Don't give up. I know it's hard, but once you get through them tough times, once you break through that depression, I'm telling you, you become the strongest person ever. I'm not going to lie. After all of that pain and trauma, I never want to see a single soul go through anything I've been through. I will go bananas if my daughter had to go through any of that. So I make sure that I turn all of that trauma and all of that pain into success, into saving lives, into helping to build others, men, women, children. It doesn't matter. I don't ever want to see anyone go through that pain. So if you can work through it, because God will never put anything on you that you cannot handle. If you can just hang in there and let them, that little bit of depression, that little bit of weakness, just feel it, but don't let it consume you. Once you get over it, nothing can touch you.
That was so good, La'Keisha. I'm thinking for our listeners again, and I want to just dig a little deeper in what you shared. You started out in saying, love yourself. But as I recollect your story, I'm trying to see where love ever entered in your story, in your journey, for any length of time to make it be bigger than pain. So there may be someone that's listening today and they're like, La'Keisha, that sounds more practical than realistic. I've never seen love long enough to appreciate love. How are you telling me to love myself when everybody who could have or should have shown me love has only given me pain? What would you say to them?
Because it's not about them. This is not about them. Forget other people and how they make you feel. Because if you don't start with yourself first, if you don't take them baby steps, I'm not saying, tell yourself, I love myself every day in the mirror. I'm just saying, light a candle, pray. Go take a walk, eat right one day. I mean, it may sound cliche, it may sound, no. I mean, that's small, but eventually, if you take one step at a time, and you have to almost be selfish, because in order for you to take care of anybody, if you have children, you have to be able to take care of yourself. In order for you to be successful, in order for you to get what you want out there in this cold, cold world, you have to make sure you're okay. So it starts with you taking baby steps and not worrying about what the next person does, says, or how they make you feel, because a person could make you feel like nothing and make you clam up and feel like you can't even get out of bed. Okay.
That's really, really good, La'Keisha. And I want to interject with this one last question before we give our listeners the tools and information of how to connect with you in this heartfelt way that you are going to be able to make a difference in their life. You said something in the initial question that I asked you about helping people to press play, you kept entertaining this word that I know a lot of people who walk through pain struggle with. If, because if is a reality. If is not, it's not a word of certainty. It's a word that flirts with the possibility of it maybe or maybe not happening. After all the trauma you walked through, how did you convert your if into a I can, and even beyond I can, I have? How did you convert that?
I stopped being fearful. I stopped being scared. I stopped allowing people to scare me. I started standing up for myself. I started putting myself in a surroundings where it was women and men who were of substance and value, who loved the Lord and who were good to themselves. I made sure that my people were good people. And I made sure that my people were people who were true to themselves, no matter if they were homeless to being rich. It didn't matter who they were.
That's so great. And I know there are some people who are listening, and I've been referring to throughout our entire interview, that are like, La'Keisha, my whole normal has been toxic. I don't even know how to see beyond all of the toxicity that trauma has introduced into my world. I want to get clear, but I don't know the difference between toxicness and clarity. If you had to, in just one statement, share with our listeners, because I feel like this is going to be the first step in them getting to that place of pressing play after trauma, is getting clear and not letting trauma, pain, fear, etc. be the lenses to which they look at life in. How did you get clear enough to move forward?
I changed. That's a hard, strong word. People are scared to change, and it's a mother. But
how did you change?
I changed my environment. I changed my eating habits. I changed the people I associate with. I changed even my career path. And
awesome.
I gave my life, and I surrendered myself to God.
Wow. So you got to change, even if the change hurts.
Yes, you have to.
Wow.
Because that hurt is going to turn into triumph, and it's going to turn into strength.
This is exceptional, La'Keisha. We will have to have you back on the Now to Next podcast. I believe you have so much more to give to our listeners. And on behalf of them, I want to thank you again. I could feel, even through the phone lines or whatever it may be, I could feel just what that took from you to share all you've shared. And thank you. Now, how can our listeners connect with you, grow with you in your journey, receive resources, or meet you in a potential place that you may be at speaking or communicating?
Definitely. So I just started this journey, and I do have a business. I am a transformational specialist. You can reach me at La'Keisha Nicole on Facebook, or you can email me at La'Keisha, that's La'Keisha, Nicole, Nicole, @gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much again. My friends, you've heard it. You have access to a transformational coach. In spite the amount of trauma you walk through, there's still the opportunity for transformation. Don't give up on yourself. Invest in the change you want to see in your life. Trauma is not the end of your story. Triumph is. Until we meet again, my friends, be encouraged, be inspired, be renewed in hope. You can press play. We believe in you. Have an incredible week and take care.
Thank you for tuning into our podcast today. For all things Launch Now, Log on to launchnowus.com for info on products, resources, and upcoming events. We are looking forward to connecting with you and enriching your life through our next episode. And remember, you have what it takes to press play. Have a super duper epic week.